This is a follow-up to a video we did yesterday about how unelected MAGA billionaire Elon Musk has seized unprecedented levels of power and access, which may or may not include your social security number as he burrows his way into the United States Treasury. It's apparently gotten so bad that according to a bombshell leak from the New York Times, even senior Trump White House officials are terrified, saying that Elon Musk is out of control. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is a recurring theme. We've seen this ever since Elon Musk publicly endorsed Donald Trump in July of 2024 and burrowed his way into the heart of the MAGA movement and Trump's orbit. He donated, according to financial disclosures, nearly $300 million, or contributed nearly $300 million to getting Trump elected. He has torpedoed bipartisan legislation, such as the continuing resolution to keep the government funded last year, getting ahead of Donald Trump on that. He's waged war against the nativist white supremacist element of the MAGA movement, threatening to go nuclear on them over the H-1B visa program, again, splitting the MAGA faction. And now, as we discussed yesterday, he's burrowing his way into classified information, which he has no right to have, to the United States Treasury, including sensitive payment information involving $6 trillion. And this personal information that he and his team may now have access to includes your social security number, or rather, he does have access to sensitive information, which may include your social security number. And the fact that so many people, including elected Republicans, don't know how deep this goes is terrifying. And then on top of this comes from this leak from the New York Times. Trump official warns New York Times almost no one can control Elon Musk. So he's scaring the hell out of even Donald Trump's top advisors. This is the segment in question from the New York Times. The rapid moves by Musk, who has a multitude of financial interests before the government, have represented an extraordinary flexing of power by a private individual. The speed and scale have shocked civil servants who've been frantically exchanging information on encrypted chats, trying to discern what's unfolding. Senior White House staff members have at times also found themselves in the dark, according to two officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe sensitive discussions. One Trump official, who was not authorized to speak publicly, said Musk was widely seen as operating with a level of autonomy that almost no one can control. After laying out many of the specifics and detailing the alarm from Democrats and government watchdog agencies, the report returns to Musk's apparent complete freedom to do whatever he sees fit under Trump. In his current role, Musk has a direct line to Trump and operates with little, if any, accountability or oversight, according to people familiar with the dynamic. He often enters the White House through a side entrance and drops into meetings. He has a close working relationship with Trump's top policy advisor, Stephen Miller, who shares Musk's contempt for much of the federal workforce. So, folks, once again, we are getting a report from people who work for Donald Trump, who are trying to execute Donald Trump's agenda, who believe that Musk is a threat to Trump himself because Musk is that out of control and that powerful. You may recall just a couple of weeks ago, we saw something similar, right? Elon Musk trashed a Trump-backed AI initiative because it included people that Musk had beef with, like Sam Altman. Trump staff furious after Musk trashes AI project. A White House official said Musk, quote, very much got over his skis when the tech tycoon launched a day-long screed against the AI project. This is Project Stargate. One Trump ally said Musk abused his closeness to the president. Another Republican close to the White House went further, saying Trump's staff is, quote, furious over Musk using his massive social media platform to pour cold water on the infrastructure deal that Trump called tremendous and monumental just a day prior. And this is the quote, you may recall. Quote, it is clear he has abused his proximity to the president, said the Trump ally. Quote, the problem is the president doesn't have any leverage over him, and Elon gives zero fucks. That's dangerous, right? Donald Trump and Elon Musk are both dangerous, and they are both unhinged in various ways. But the one thing about Donald Trump is he was elected. He was elected. There was a Democratic election, and the people chose poorly, but they chose Donald Trump. Elon Musk was not elected. Elon Musk wasn't even appointed by the president and given Senate confirmation. There are no checks and no oversight to this man, except perhaps Donald Trump's restraint. Donald Trump, who is lazy, who is stupid, who is easily manipulated, and who doesn't pay attention to the details. This is a very harrowing situation. It's so bad that on CNN, a MAGA Republican congresswoman, I think Malliotakis is her last name, Representative Malliotakis, appeared on CNN, and she was called out on this very issue by CNN's Bottari Sellers, who pointed out that even though she is a representative given power to legislate and to check the executive branch, she seems to be in the dark on this too, and this is incredibly dangerous.
Out because they were going out for some ridiculous things. In Congress, by the way, Elon Musk's role is an advisory role.
Correct.
Let's be clear about that. He is not going to be we're going to be making that final determination as members of Congress.
I should also just say Elon doesn't think that that's the case, because he's been saying pretty point blank, this is going away. We've gotten rid of this. We've gotten rid of that. And the money has stopped flowing.
Respectfully, Congresswoman, it was his aides who sent notices today to USAID saying, don't come to work. Mm-hmm. And I hear your point about cutting spending and everything. And look, I'm not going to die on a hill that says that these agencies don't have some frivolous spending that we need to rein in. But the fact is, do you know, sitting here today, that Elon Musk and his aides do not have access to my Social Security number? You don't know that. And that is troublesome, because as a member of Congress, you should know that. But what we do know is he went in the Treasury. He locked people out. He fired individuals. And now Elon Musk and his aides, and this is not a partisan attack by any stretch. This is, look, I deserve to know where my information is and why someone who is unelected, we don't even know what his job title is.
So why is it that out?
Incredibly well said. See, this is the problem. In theory, and we talked about this is government 101, right? This idea that we have three co-equal branches is actually bullshit. There's the word co-equal is never mentioned in the Constitution. We have three coordinate branches, three separate branches, three powerful branches that are supposed to serve a specific function. But at the end of the day, there's a reason that Congress is in Article 1 of the Constitution and the presidency is Article 2 and the judiciary is Article 3. As the Founding Fathers themselves noted in the Federalist Papers, in a democratic republic, the legislature is necessarily predominant. They are the final hand on top. And yet, because of feckless Republican leadership, they are not acting that way. They are acting as a rubber stamp, and that's if they are included in Donald Trump's and Elon Musk's schemes. In this case, as you saw, Representative Malliotakis had no answer for this, and Bottari Sellers confronted on it. You don't know what's going on. Not only should you know, you all should be the ones calling the shots, because these agencies have been created with congressional approval, congressional funding, and you are the final hand on top, and you don't know what the hell is going on. You are not only derelict in your duty, you have been sidestepped deliberately by Donald Trump, who looks at you again either as a rubber stamp or as something to ignore. But these Republicans won't even jealously guard their own power in their own self-interest because they're so afraid of Trump and Musk. This is, by the way, the bombshell report from the New York Times. You should definitely check it out. Inside Musk's aggressive incursion into the federal government. In Elon Musk's first 2 weeks in government, his lieutenants gained access to closely held financial and data systems, casting aside career officials who warned that they were defying protocols. They moved swiftly to shutter specific programs and an entire agency, that had come into Musk's crosshairs. They bombarded federal employees with messages suggesting that they were lazy and encouraging to leave their jobs. Musk's aggressive incursions into at least half a dozen government agencies have challenged congressional authority and potentially breached civil service protections. Top officials at the Treasury Department and U.S. Agency for International Development, that's USAID, who objected to the actions of his representatives, were swiftly pushed aside. And Musk's efforts to shut down USAID, a key source of foreign assistance, have reverberated throughout the globe. Musk, the world's richest man, is sweeping through the federal government as a singular force, creating major upheaval as he looks to put an ideological stamp on the bureaucracy and rid the system of those who he and the president deride as the deep state. The rapid moves by Musk, who has a multitude of financial interests before the government, have represented an extraordinary flexing of power by a private individual. And then there's also the frontline reports from Wired, okay? A 25-year-old with Elon Musk ties has direct access to the federal payment system. The Bureau of Fiscal Service is a sleepy part of the Treasury Department. It's also where, sources say, a 25-year-old engineer tied to Elon Musk has admin privileges over the code that controls Social Security payments, tax returns, and more. Hear that again. A 25-year-old engineer named Marco Ellis, who previously worked for 2 Elon Musk companies, has direct access to Treasury Department systems responsible for nearly all payments made by the United States government, 3 sources tell Wired. Wow. 2 of the sources say that Eliz's privileges include the ability not just to read, but to write code on two of the most sensitive program systems in the U.S. government, the Payment Automation Manager, PAM, and Secure Payment Systems, SPS, at the Bureau of Fiscal Service. Housed on a top-secret mainframe, these systems control, on a granular level, government payments that in their totality amount to more than a fifth of the U.S. economy. Not only did no one elect Elon Musk or appoint Elon Musk, certainly nobody elected or appointed Elon Musk's sidekick, who has been given unprecedented level of granular control over our sensitive information. Some specific points. We already read that part. Let's see. Typically, admin privileges could give someone the power to log onto servers through secure shell access, navigate the entire file system, change user permissions, and delete or modify crucial files. That could allow someone to bypass the security measures of and potentially cause irreversible changes to the very systems they have access to. The vast majority of payments, though, including federal tax returns, Social Security benefits, supplemental security income benefits, and veterans pay, flow through the Federal Disbursement Service, which, according to the Treasury records, paid out nearly $5.45 trillion in fiscal year 2024. The BFS, a nonpartisan body, is charged with directing this money appropriately, moving it from government accounts to recipients. The PAM and SPS are the mechanisms through which the money is paid out. And this kid has access to it. This is where we are. This is extraordinary. This is extraordinarily dangerous. And again, a sane, principled person would oppose this no matter where they fall on the political spectrum, because conservatives and MAGA Republicans who are cheering this on, again, as Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks recently pointed out to Piers Morgan, just imagine that it were George Soros instead of Elon Musk, a liberal billionaire philanthropist and donor. The same MAGA Republicans who are cheering Elon Musk on would be rightly apoplectic if it were a liberal billionaire philanthropist donor. If that's the case, then they should be equally outraged by this. I would have a problem with George Soros or Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or Mark Cuban. Nobody should have this level of unaccountability and deep access. But that is precisely where we are. And it goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning, which is that even top Trump officials say that Elon Musk is out of control. Who will stop him? The only person on earth who theoretically could would be Donald Trump, but Donald Trump doesn't have the capability mentally to do it. He's stupid, easily manipulated, easily flattered, lazy, doesn't pay attention to the details. He's not eligible for re-election, so he doesn't really need to court the votes. And lastly, he follows the money, and Musk has a hell of a lot more money than him. That's where we are. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.